Hello guys, and welcome to my channel. I'll start by apologizing for my voice. I happen to have a cough at the moment, but I'm happy to have you here with me. Today was a day when I was supposed to be hauling a whole lot of manure, but unfortunately the guy who was delivering it did not turn up on that day because he had to go to work. And so I decided that it was time for me to try and find spaces to put the rest of my onions and garlic in order that I do not miss the boat. I'm doing an experiment this year. Normally, I like to plant my garlic and onions in November. However, I wanted to get them in October to see whether or not it would make a difference to my harvest. I also wanted to experiment by trying to grow some of my onions in my straw beds. I found using my straw beds this year absolutely fantastic, and it's something I want to expand on. Not only do you get a space to grow, which is versatile and seems to be able to carry so many different plants, it's also a space that is cheaper than what it would take me to fill some of my beds with compost and manure. And so I'm hoping to source some more straw bales in order that I can put them into some of my other beds. And my hope is that if I get them in this season, I can actually make sure that by the time the growing season comes round, they will be ready for planting without the need for extra work, because they'll have broken down without the need for the conditioning you would normally do. In this bed, I put some Akado onions, and I added a little bit of compost because at times when I was pushing my fingers through, I noticed that there was a lot of spaciness, and obviously the onions need to root into something in order to encourage growth of their roots. Now on the other side, I had to take out the maris pipers because I had blight. So I took these out, and they haven't been in that long, so it was fantastic to see how much of a produce I had from them. And obviously once I took them out, it meant that I needed to add some compost to that space, as it left a hole where the potatoes were sitting. Finding these aubergines was a pleasant surprise because I didn't expect them to do anything, but obviously they've done well, and I'm surprised that they haven't died back yet. But I did notice that close to the straw bales there was a lot of warmth, which suggests that they maintain the heat, allowing for continued growth of plants within them. Now I still have some maris pipers, which I'm hoping will be ready for Christmas, not only over here but also in this bed here. I have some more maris pipers with which I was practicing my single seed potato challenge in preparation for next year. I'm definitely going to join in, and I'm hoping that Steve Digwell will be able to find a provider of potatoes, because I really want to get that done this year and see how well I can do with just the one potato. Clearing beds is a very big part of preparing your garden in autumn, and not only do you create space for what is going in, but it also means that you have less work to do when the season really gets going next year. Now, I wanted to put some onions and garlic in this area because I didn't want to put them where they were in the last few years. Although I don't worry about crop rotation so much because of how I feed my soil, I also still wanted to try unique places to grow them and see whether or not they would do any better in these areas. Now, as always, I always mulch everything with wood chip or with manure and compost, and it's something I consistently do. Successful composting requires some work, and so what I try and do when I pull plants out is to chop them up into smaller pieces in order that they can fit better within the compost bins. And although it seems like a lot of work, It's something that will help the breakdown and speed up the process of composting, providing you with a good source of compost sooner than if you just chuck them in whole, as I see some people do. Ideally, my usual way of mulching onions and garlic when I put them in, I use manure. However, as I'm waiting on manure, I decided to use the compost to top them, not only to provide them with a bit of feed until my manure arrives, but also to fill up the bed a bit more. And then I did a bit of chop and drop, which will provide the worms and the critters within the bed with some food so that they can continue to make my soil thrive and stay healthy whilst I wait to top it with even more manure to make it even a happier place for plants to be. I am so pleased to have had this day, which was a good day, although it was cold. There was no rain, so I managed to put all my onions and all my garlic in. I still have some more garlic to plant at home, but I'm pretty pleased with the results of my day at the allotment on this day. I hope you've enjoyed this, and please do like and subscribe, and I do welcome comments. I love chatting with all of you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.